Hi there, I'm Mike, and what I have for you today is another Star Wars The Black Series sort of unboxing, first initial thoughts sort of video. I do a couple of these every once in a while, mostly when it comes out to a new figure, and it's a figure we've had before, but it's different. So this is another in the Gaming Greats line. This is a GameStop exclusive. This is the Shadow Stormtrooper. You can see it's right there. It's got a nice blue and black design. So this is still the old box design. The new ones don't come out till the fall. This is actually probably, I would guess, probably one of the last times we'll get this mold. This is the original Sand Trooper mold, one of the very first figures ever made. This mold has probably gotten more use in the Black Series than any other mold ever. So I really like the blue. I think this is the same color blue that was used for Phase 2. So it's very reminiscent of Phase 2, and I kind of like that. This is the back right here. You can see my box was smashed in from GameStop, so thanks for that, GameStop. But thankfully, I'm an out-of-the-box collector, so I don't care. But it's nice getting a pristine box rather than a smushed box. Anyways, this is the back here. Shadow Trooper. Star Wars The Force Unleashed follows Darth Vader's secret apprentice trained to hunt down and destroy Jedi, while Shadow Stormtroopers use cloaking devices to ambush enemies. So basically, these were just enemies in the game that could cloak themselves. They could be invisible. I'm pretty sure, in fact, I know that these aren't canon. They were made for the game, but it's kind of fun. And just like every other Stormtrooper ever, he comes with the same two guns every Stormtroopers always come with. I'm gonna get the joints all loosey-goosey here. If you don't kind of play around with the joints a little bit, the odds of them snapping are pretty good if they're sort of locked, especially with the clear plastic that's on here. So that's kind of the thing here, is that there's translucent plastic. And in fact, I'm pretty sure the whole figure, or at least a good chunk of the figure, is made out of translucent plastic and just kind of colored. We're getting a brand new Stormtrooper design with the new single jointed knees and things like that. So like I said at the beginning, this will probably one of the last times we get this mold used. That's a little bittersweet because, like I said, it was one of the first figures ever made. This joint right here is a little bent, a little warped right there. You can fix stuff like this by just heating it up with a hair dryer or dipping it in hot water for a little bit, and then you can kind of reshape it. What I like about this, I like the black. It's sort of it's less black in hand than I initially thought it was looking at pictures of it online. And the clear is more clear. The way it looks is, I thought it was just kind of blue with, like, I don't know, it looks shiny, iridescent. It definitely is. The plastic here, you can see through it. Like, it's translucent, which is pretty cool. It's just got kind of a light shading over it. It definitely looks good. Well, let's take a look at the weapons here. This is the standard E11, I think, Stormtrooper blaster. We've gotten this 1,000 times, but this one actually has a little bit of paint on the side right there, which is pretty unique. Most of the time, these guys are just kind of plain. Sometimes they have a little silver brushing over it. This one doesn't. This has a little silver detailing right there. This, though, does have that silver brushing, the dry brushing, to make it look kind of metallic and worn. One of the weird things of the Black Series is just how inconsistent the weapons are. Sometimes you'll get a weapon that's flat and gray and really boring. Sometimes you'll get a weapon with just a ton of little dry brushing detailing on there. Sometimes you'll get a weapon with the appropriate paint apps. Sometimes you'll get a weapon with no paint apps. It's so weird how sometimes you'll get a weapon with such detail, and it's the same weapon, like they've made this weapon 1,000 times, but they've made it also 1,000 different ways, and it's just kind of weird how they do that. I think on my shelf, I'm gonna have this guy with this one, and then this is going back in the box, because I tend to actually kind of put most of my Stormtroopers with this weapon because they can holster this one. It goes in the holster right here, and that's actually something that I think is missing out of the new figures. This is actually kind of interesting. This is more of like a metallic kind of paint. It's very reminiscent of the carbonized figures, I guess. I like it. I like it a lot. I do feel like the shine of the paint is really kind of catching the lights and not giving it a really good shake of what it looks like. But I love down here, I love the way the blue shines through like this. It's definitely translucent plastic, and that's always kind of a cool kind of look. You can actually see through his leg into the joint there, which is pretty cool. Same thing with the arms here. These are translucent. What this kind of reminds me of is one of those old like Mad Catz controllers. This is a normal controller, but it's clear and see-through. What I want to do now is just kind of show you this guy compared to a couple of other Stormtroopers that have been released in the line. You can just kind of see the evolution of where they've come from. Starting with the previous release of the gaming grades. This is from the same games. This is Stormtrooper Commander. I actually really like the paint job on this right here. So this is the old Shadow Squadron Trooper. He's basically just a regular Stormtrooper but painted black. So definitely not as cool as this one, because the translucent and the blue, I really do feel like sets this one apart versus just the Stormtrooper painted black. This is a 2-pack. Came with a black speeder bike pilot and a speeder bike too. But you can see what I mean. Like the gun here is just a very gray plastic. It's not even like black, dry brushed gray. It's just kind of boring. Next we have, you can see what I mean about liking to use these guns. This is the Crimson Stormtrooper. This is from the Entertainment Earth 4-pack. So again, these are all the same mold, just with different kind of color schemes and paint jobs. And then finally, I showed this off last time as well. This is the Shock Trooper from Battlefront. This was a Walmart exclusive. So you can kind of see a little evolution. They're all the exact same figure. They just have different paint schemes and colors and decorations. And I could pull out the rest, because there's so many Stormtroopers in the line. Individually released, and these are just, 4 of them plus the new one. I do have to say I'm very happy that they are coming out with a brand new Stormtrooper design. I really can't wait to see it in hand, because there are some problems with this design. Number one being, one of the first figures they designed, it hasn't aged well. The proportions aren't great. The head's too big. It's not great. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting a new version of the Stormtrooper. And I'm also a little worried that I like the new one so much that I just want to throw all these guys away, because they're no longer good. Not that these are good right now, that they're fine, but I feel like the new one might diminish my opinion of the older figures. One of the things I do want to point out, you can see in my Stormtrooper Commander here, the legs tend to bow a little bit on these. These actually don't really have a big problem with it, but some of my earlier ones do. Just from standing in attention on my shelf, the weight of the figure itself, especially if it's a sand trooper with a backpack, tends to just kind of warp the legs. So it looks like he has rickets. That's not a great look. These are the other figures. Just kind of want to show them off. Just a snap review of this. While I don't like the proportions of this, I do like the color scheme. I like the material it's made out of. So I like the effect they've got going on with the glowiness, to make it look like he is sort of shrouded in sort of a cloaking technology. The look of the figure is good, but I still want to acknowledge that the proportions of this are wrong. The accessories are, they're fine. He comes with the same accessories every Stormtrooper comes with, and he does have paint, and he does have the blaster on here. Articulation, he moves exactly like any other Stormtrooper does. He's got the older style head with only the single joint instead of the double joint on the neck, but there's nothing limiting how it moves, so it actually has a pretty good range of movement there. He doesn't have butterfly joints in the shoulders, and while it would benefit from that, it's fine. The arms have a decent range of movement. The hands are fine. Everything else is pretty good here. Nothing really gets in the way. The paint and sculpt on this is fantastic. The sculpt is the same as every other Stormtrooper, but the paint here with the gradient into the blue and the translucent material used, I really like the look of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that the full point. The downside just comes to that want and availability. Would I have wanted this a year ago? Yes. Now that a new Stormtrooper's coming out, do I still want it? Kind of no. I wish that they would hold off on Stormtrooper designs like this, and I want them to milk that new design. I know they're just trying to get their money out of this, but I feel like over the last 6 years or so, 7 years, they've gotten their money's worth out of this. But also part of the category is the availability. How available is this guy? And I honestly don't know. I ordered mine online. It sucked because not only is it $25 instead of $20, but I also had to pay shipping from GameStop, because normally I would go in and pre-order it, but since all the GameStops around me have been closed because of COVID, it's just been really tough to get this guy for a decent price. So I did pay a lot more for it than I really would have preferred. Overall, GameStop exclusives aren't great. The whole COVID thing, I know it's not GameStop's fault, but charging for shipping on a $25 figure when there's no in-store option sucks. I honestly don't remember if I mapped this out right. I'm doing this all off the top of my head. I don't have anything written down, but I'm gonna give this guy a 3.75 out of 5. He's pretty cool. He's gonna stand out on the shelf pretty well. He's gonna go with my Stormtroopers, but again, these guys are definitely not without their flaws. I'm happy to have them in my collection. I just don't know for how long I'm gonna be happy to have him in my collection, because once the new Stormtroopers come out, I might not care anymore. But with that, that's my review of the Shadow Stormtrooper. Let me know what you thought. Do you have this? Are you going to get it? Are you going to pick it up? Are you passing on it? I love to read and respond to all the comments down in the downstairs area. While you're down there, there's a couple different ways you can support my channel if you want to, up to and including liking, sharing, subscribing. You can check out my Patreon if you want to. I'd also like to take a moment to thank these people here for supporting me on Patreon at a Black Series level or higher. Thanks a lot, guys. It means a lot to me that you do that. And with that, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting this far. And I'll see you later. Bye.